Prime Minister says he doesn't think much about monetary policy.
Clearly.
That's no surprise. After all, it's just inflation.
Every time you think Joe Biden is bad, remember what Canada has.
The Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, is a well-known figure all around the world, and outside Canada, mostly he's praised and he is well known for his looks and also some of the things he does for Canada. But within Canada, he is probably one of the most controversial prime ministers in history. Today we're going to discuss 15 words which trend about him, what people really say, what do Canadians think about Justin Trudeau. At the end of this video, I'll tell you what I think personally of Justin Trudeau, and we're going to discuss some positive vocabulary and some negative words as well for you to learn and also apply them in day-to-day conversations when you talk about your PM. Start with word number one, that is questionable. Questionable is the same thing like controversial. Justin does a lot of things that are very questionable and very controversial, and that brings him into the public eye and that makes him a topic of debate, and that is what questionable means. So the next time someone does anything which might be unethical or might be looked at in a negative way, that is a questionable thing that that person is doing. Word number two is a positive word, and that is looks sharp. So why do a lot of people tell or say that Justin Trudeau looks sharp today or looked sharp in that interview? That simply means he looks handsome. And yes, he's a very good looking guy. A lot of people think that's why he gets a lot of votes, but be that or not, he is a very good looking guy and you can call him handsome. There are not a lot of synonyms for handsome, believe it or not. That's why looking sharp is not really one word, but that is one thing that could replace handsome. You could also call him well-groomed if he dresses properly, makes his hair properly, and there are very few things you can say. Good looking is another one, and these are just some synonyms for you to learn. Word number three is leftist. So what is leftist? It's very commonly discussed in politics. Leftist is a person who's very close to or believes or is a communist person. So a lot of people don't like Justin Trudeau because the things he does, it makes him appear as if he's a communist leader. People know a lot about how he praises China too much, sometimes even Cuba. These are communist countries. And the latest things that he has implemented in this country, which are related to vaccine passports and how he's controlling people, how he's controlling businesses. Basically, the government is trying to control everything these days with all the mandates, and especially after whatever has happened after COVID. People think he wants complete control, and when the government or one person has a lot of control, those people are in the communist countries mainly, where people don't have power, and Justin is kind of turning Canada into that place, which is why a lot of people call him leftist. Word number four is collected. Whatever or whoever he is, whatever you want to say about him, one thing is, mostly in his interviews, in his declamations, whenever he's speaking, he appears very calm, and that is the quality of a good leader. He's very calm and collected. So we use these words together a lot of times, the phrases calm and collected, but you can also call the person collected when the person is very peaceful, when he's or she is talking in a very polite, humble, modest way, and when he speaks, he appears to be that kind of person. Word number five is fascist. So fascists are dictators. Is Justin Trudeau a dictator? Well, a lot of things that he has done after COVID have been in that direction. We can talk about mandates, how he has taken people's freedoms away. We can talk about expenses, how he spends the government and taxpayers' money without really providing any justification or getting anyone's approvals. He also did an election recently, which nobody wanted, where he wanted the majority of the government. And why would anyone do this? Is because they want power. So that makes him a fascist person, according to a lot of people. Word number six is triumphant. Say what you will say about him, he has been triumphant in 3 different elections. He has been elected as the Prime Minister of Canada 3 different times. So we can say all the negative vocabulary about him, and we can sit here and do that all day. He has proven to be highly popular among majority of the people again and again and again. So he is a very successful person, and that makes him a triumphant person. Word number 7 is crook. So allegation, big allegation time. He is a crook, which means he is a corrupt person. That has been proven true, and Justin has admitted to that. Actually, he has apologized on this as well when he has taken vacations, expensive private jet trips. A lot of the expenses he has made from taxpayers' money and has used that on his personal stuff, on his personal vacations, has spent that money on his family. That does make him a corrupt leader. There's no argument about that. This is a fact that he is corrupt or a crook, which is what you can use as a synonym. Word number 8 is amiable. Amiable are friendly people who are not conflicting, who are able to become friends or be in agreement with you and be just agreeable people. When you see Justin Trudeau meeting leaders of different places, when you see him interacting with majority of the people, sometimes he criticizes people, but with the majority, and when he addresses people or goes in certain groups, he talks in a very nice way. Once again, he's a good talker and he shows that he's a very polite and humble person. It appears that way, and that makes him an amiable person. Whenever someone is friendly, someone who's approachable and easy to talk to, that makes them an amiable person, and mostly you can see that in Justin's personality. The next word is diplomatic. So diplomatic people are the kinds of people who never pick sides. They are always gonna be in the middle, be the neutral person, and it's just like, you know, in a home situation, when you're a mother and you like the boy more than the girl, you are still trying your best to give both kids the compliment, even though you think the boy deserves it more. So you are being a diplomatic person. So in that kind of setting, it's actually good to be diplomatic, to be equal. But as politicians, you should not be diplomatic, and most politicians all over the world are. Justin is one of them. If you see his press conferences, you see reporters constantly telling him, Mr. Prime Minister, please answer the goddamn question. He never answers questions which are difficult or the ones where he is accountable. He dodges questions a lot, a whole lot. And that is what politicians do, unfortunately. It could be seen as a talent, but for people who really want answers, being a diplomatic person comes off as deceitful. And a lot of times it appears that Justin has that personality issue. The next thing is efficacious. So efficacious is efficient or active. One thing that I like about our Prime Minister is he's not absent. He's not someone who disappears for a long period of time. You would always see him on the news. You would always see him doing something, whether it's helping Canadians during COVID with his, I wouldn't say mandates as helping, but with his financial aid that was very useful for businesses and people, or whether it's the diplomatic relationships or any updates that are supposed to be made. Justin is always there. You would always see him on TV doing something, anytime, at any point. He's doing something, and that's what you want from your leaders, to be active and not just be sitting around where we don't know what they have been up to. The next word is squanderer. Is Justin a squanderer? Absolutely. Justin Trudeau has wasted billions of taxpayers' money on useless things, where Canadians have been suffering, they needed funding, and they still need funding in a lot of areas. They never get that, but that foreign aid goes to other countries, goes to other resources, where Canadians feel left out. We also know that Justin Trudeau spends money on the COVID aid where a lot of people don't deserve it. A lot of families that are well off and businesses that are doing good still get the COVID relief funds, and they don't need it. And that's where people don't like him saying that he's spending money without thinking. Other places as well, we see that economy-wise, he doesn't talk about building the economy or how to make more sources of income. It's always how we should spend money, how we should use money on different fields, and that doesn't make sense. That makes him a squanderer, someone who wastes money without thinking. The next word is strategic. He is strategic, so strategic means careful in strategy. Whatever he has done so far, again, he has been elected 3 times as the Prime Minister of Canada. So this is his quality. This is also his quality to be successful so far. There's no impeachment of Justin Trudeau. Mostly people like him all over the world. He is seen as the good guy. And whatever he has done, good or bad, he has been strategic in maintaining a great image all over the world. That makes him someone who is very careful in their strategy and implementation. The next word is megalomaniac. Megalomaniac is a person who seeks power and is power hungry. Justin Trudeau is a megalomaniac for sure. The third election that he did, which again nobody asked for, was done to get a majority government so he can make his decisions and implement them all over Canada. This is where there would be no controversy and his mandates, his thing, would go across without a hitch. Someone who is that much after majority votes or majority of the control is power hungry or megalomaniac. 13th word is affluent. Affluent simply means rich. So Justin Trudeau is a prime minister. People usually in this position, make a lot of money. He does too. His father was also super rich. He belongs to a very rich family. That makes him an affluent person. 15th word is neither positive or negative. It is just a neutral word to keep things a little balanced. It is acclaimed. So if you're acclaimed for something, you're known for that. So Justin Trudeau has been known for his work in the climate area. He is acclaimed for his great work in trying to improve the climate. He is also acclaimed for corruption, unfortunately. So positive, negative, that means he's known for corruption. And that is something you can use as a neutral thing, say acclaimed, add for, acclaimed for, and then whatever that person is known for. Personally, if we make a pros and cons list, and if I do that, I mostly think the cons are more, because Justin has made this country not a unified place at all. After COVID, with all the mandates and the restrictions on the unvaccinated people, Canada is not a country where people are united now. He has created that segregation and almost villainized people who are not vaccinated, knowing that these are also Canadians. At the same time, Justin and all politicians, and this could be a message that we need to relay to our politicians, why don't you guys ever talk about the economy? When we talk about economy, when Justin does that, and I mentioned this in one of the words, he talks about, and these politicians talk about, spending Canada's money. It's always about spending money here, spending money there. They never talk about making money. In none of the political debates do we ever talk about making money or income sources or developing businesses or helping the economy to grow. We never talk about that. And that is something that the next politician, the next Prime Minister of Canada should really focus on. That is my opinion on Justin Trudeau. That's my opinion on the position of Canada right now. I hope you liked this video and you learned something. And if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you very soon. Take care.